Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. It's Erika. I hope you guys are doing great. I wanted to talk about a really important topic today that I have been speaking a lot about recently. In fact, on Saturday, I did a speaking engagement where I talked about the top strategies for cancer prevention. And understanding this concept of skincare and what we put onto our skin is one of the main things that I think a lot of people don't quite understand. And it was really eye-opening for the people that were there. So it just prompted me to want to do this as a video. I've written about it in the past, but here I am to help you understand how to find out if your particular skincare products are actually safe. Now, we have, there's a lot of people that I know that represent skincare companies, and they're super passionate about what they represent, and a lot of them believe that the products that they're marketing are healthy. And I have had an ethical issue with this because I don't know if I should speak up to them or not, or say, do you know that what you're putting on your skin is actually not as healthy as you think? Because in the skincare industry in general, not just with, for example, network marketing direct sales companies, but with skincare in general, that be like retail brands, things like brands available in spas, is that people have an assumption that because a product is on the shelf that it's safe. There's an assumption that things have gone through testing. There's an assumption that if it's been approved by the FDA to be able to be sold, then it must be okay to put on my body. And I'm here to tell you that is so not true. And that's why I'm doing this video. So I'm going to teach you what you need to know of how to actually understand whether it's something's just marketing, if you're, or if it's actually true. Now, one thing that's also important to note, and this is actually from the FDA's website, is that a cosmetic manufacturer can use almost anything, any sort of raw material or ingredient, without an approval from the FDA. Like, they don't need approval from the FDA to actually put something in the product. And there's no pre-market safety testing required for the industrial chemicals that go into personal care products, or the chemical industry as a whole. So the assumption that something's been in a product means that you assume it's been proven, you assume it's safe, and you assume that it's gone through a process. Well, in the personal care industry in particular, unfortunately, that's not true. So what's somebody to do? I like to tell stories, and I wanted to give an example of a situation. So I know, if you don't care that your product's healthy, then this video is not for you. You can go now and you don't have to watch the rest of it. But most people, I think, care that their product is actually going to be non-harmful to them. And here's why personal care in particular is really, really important when it comes to, for example, cancer prevention, is it's something that we put onto our skin. Now, our skin is a barrier, is not a barrier, but it's a carrier. And that means that what we put onto our skin within less than 30 seconds gets directly into our bloodstream. Almost everything we put into our skin gets into the bloodstream. Now, there are some ingredients that will stay on the top because they're surface, but most things will get absorbed into the bloodstream, and that's within 26 seconds. So, and then it's about 32 or 34 seconds before it's detectable in the liver and kidneys. So putting something on your skin, and personal care, lotions, things like that we do every single day, are something that is over the long haul will make a massive difference in our body's toxic load. And hey, Jen, I'm so glad you're here. If this is interesting at all, please do feel free to share this video. Like it, give it some hearts so that more people can see it. So that's an assumption that people make, is that things have been tested and they've been tested safe. So here's what I like to recommend. There's a resource that I love. It's called EWG.org. It's the Environmental Working Group's website. And they have a database of a few different databases, but they have a cosmetics and personal care products database. They also have one for cleaners. They have one for sunscreens specifically. Love this website. There's an app. You can get it on your phone. Super easy to inform any purchasing decision you make. And what they do is they rate products and ingredients on a scale of 1 to 10 for toxicity. So 1 being the safest that you could use, and a 10 being the most toxic to your body, and it'll explain and give you all sorts of reasons. So let's just use this example. So there's a company that I know that markets itself as healthy, safe skincare. They've been around for a while. In fact, prior to me being a naturopath, I even bought products from this company because I thought I was buying healthy products. So I'm not gonna name who it is, but I'm going to use them as an example of how you would go take a look at your own personal care products that you use, like your lotions, your wrinkle creams, your skincare products. So here's what you do. So for example, I went to this website and I just looked up to EWG.org's database, and I typed in the company name. So I searched the company name and up came the company name, and it showed a rating of a range of 1 to 7. So that means that particular company's products are rated, or companies a 1 to a 7. So that's kind of a big range. And it only showed 15 products. Now, I know that company has way more products than 15, but only 15 of them are in the database. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not all products specifically are in the database. Sometimes companies submit, sometimes, you know, there's all different reasons why. So that's not necessarily a bad thing that they don't have their whole line on there. So if you go to the database and you type in your brand of product that you use and the name doesn't come up, it's okay. So I'll teach you what to do with that. You basically will go look at each individual ingredient from the label of the product that you're using. So, okay, so this particular company ranges a 1 to 7 for the 15 products. So what I thought I'd do is I'll go, well, let me just go look at one specific product that I know is one of their best sellers. So I looked up that particular product, and that particular product alone rated a 6 out of 10. So that's already something I don't want to put on my skin. And so the 6 out of 10 was an alarming thing to begin with. But here's what you need to do. You can't just take a look at I don't recommend necessarily just taking a look at the overall rating, although that's a good indication of how safe or unsafe a product is. But if you're really curious, you can actually click into the product itself, and it should list the ingredients that are in the product. Now, in this particular product that rates a 6 out of 10, the reason it has some decent ingredients in it, but the reason it's a 6 out of 10 is because it has one ingredient in it that is a 10 out of 10 for toxicity. So why is that a 10 out of 10? That particular ingredient happens to be a formaldehyde releaser. That means you put it on your skin, and as it metabolizes, it releases formaldehyde. And we all remember formaldehyde from 7th grade science class. So again, if the 6 wasn't enough to make me not want to put it on my skin, the 10 and the fact that it's formaldehyde releasing, I don't want to put that anywhere near the skin. So that's what I would do. If your particular product is not listed that you use, all you have to do is literally look at the label on the package if you can. I don't advise going to look at the website that markets the product, because they might only list the key ingredients, meaning the ones they want to highlight. What you need to understand is you need to look at the entire full ingredient list, where they're required to disclose what the ingredients are in the product. And in the skincare industry, it's sometimes very hard to do this. You have to be almost like a detective or in the CIA to find out some of these ingredients, because I've done this for some of my friends, because they ask me like, hey, what about this? Can you take a look at this for me? And sometimes it takes a while to dig and find out what the true ingredient list is. So that's what I would recommend for you. So anyway, so with this particular product, here's the crazy thing is I know people that, for example, represent this company, and they genuinely believe that their products are clean and healthy, and they're passionate about that. They're passionate about health. So it's hard for me when they invite me to come to a party or something, and I'm like, I don't believe in that product for this reason, but I don't want to thwart their enthusiasm for it, because I want to, as a friend, I want to support them in their endeavor to build a business, to make income from their families. And again, this doesn't just apply to network marketing or direct sales companies. This is true of very expensive high-end spa lines as well. So here's the crazy thing. I went to the company's website and I looked at their ingredient policy, and literally in their ingredient policy, it says, we formulate without formaldehyde releasing ingredients. Yet there is a formaldehyde releasing ingredient. So here's what I did. Of course, I give the benefit of the doubt. I always like to do this because this is just how I think. I go, okay, well, maybe that's an older, maybe EWG.org has an older formula of this particular product. Because sometimes there might be a formula for a company, and then they'll reformulate, they'll improve it, and that does happen. So you want to make sure that is it the current formula for the product, or is it an old one? And EWG is pretty good about marking down, the 2014 version or whatever. So you should be able to tell if the product is listed. But I just double checked, and I said, well, maybe they've removed it since it was put into EWG, but it wasn't. It was the exact current product that's sold all over the place, all over the world right now. So that was a little unnerving to me. And I don't have an explanation for why they say they formulate without it, but then if you actually dig deep and do some homework with a third party that has nothing to do with selling the product, it shows that it's in there, and sure enough, their ingredient list shows that that ingredient is in there. So I don't have an explanation. If someone has one, awesome, that would be great, but I'm only sharing this because this is what I do for work, and this is what I do for a living, and I happen to know a lot about this, and I don't even have an explanation. So how is the average consumer who's just trying to do the right thing for them and their family, how are they going to solve this mystery? So again, I don't have an answer for that, but I hope that by sharing this example, that it's a way for you to know how to go look up what you're putting on your skin. Because in the skincare industry in particular, you know, I always say there's a range, right? There's the products that work, but they usually have not good ingredients in them, or ingredients that are not going to be the best for your body. And then there's the ones that are super clean, but they're not very effective. So that's typically where things have been. There are some companies now that have ones that are effective and clean, so they do exist. So definitely seek those out. And in fact, EWG.org does verify products. Just because a product's not verified doesn't mean it wouldn't be verified, but it's a very expensive, long process that the companies have to go through in order to get officially EWG verified. So that's always a good litmus test there, is if it's verified, you know, it's got their stamp of approval. So in any case, I hope that's helpful. And I have done so many of these little analyses where I have, you know, friends or family members who are like, you know, I just bought this line, I want to make sure it's clean, can you take a look at it? And almost all the time, and there is an exception to someone recently that I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, this has good stuff in it. So they do exist. So guys, if it matters to you that what you're putting on your skin is healthy and safe and not going to cause things like reproductive toxicity, endocrine disruption, cancer. I mean, there are carcinogenic products that are out there. And one thing, okay, I have to say this because I'm so passionate about this, obviously. Anything that says fragrance, that can be a 10 out of 10. So if the label says fragrance or a dye, like a red dye number, whatever, yellow number 5, guys, those should never be in any products whatsoever from a toxicity standpoint, in my opinion. But they're out there. So if this is helpful, if you feel like this has been eye-opening in any way, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear about or any questions that you have. Because again, my goal is to really empower you and educate you so that you can make the right decisions for your families. And it is a confusing world out there. All sorts of companies, all sorts of products. And thank you, Jen, for your comment. I appreciate it. Obviously, I'm passionate about this because I want families to thrive and be healthy, and I see so many things and products out there that I know are doing more harm than good. So anyway, until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.